Hey everyone, and welcome back to Uncle Sam Fun English. I'm Theus, and I'm excited to be here with all of you today.
And I'm Belle. It's always a pleasure to be back and ready to share some more English learning tips with our amazing listeners.
Absolutely. Today we're tackling a really common struggle for English learners: the habit of thinking in your native language and then translating.
Oh, absolutely. It's something almost every learner experiences. Why does this matter? Because it slows you down and makes you less fluent.
Exactly. It's like trying to run a race with weights on your ankles. Today, we're going to offer some practical strategies to break free from this habit.
We'll give you some concrete tips and techniques to start thinking directly in English, so you can speak more naturally and confidently. Let's dive in.
Many learners get stuck in this translation loop, constantly mentally converting phrases. It's exhausting and keeps you from truly internalizing the language.
It also leads to awkward phrasing and unnatural word choices, because direct translations often don't capture the nuances of English.
That's so true. I remember when I was learning Spanish, I would always try to translate idioms literally, and it never made sense.
Exactly. Idioms and expressions are often culturally specific, so a word-for-word translation just doesn't work. It's like trying to fit a square peg in a round hole.
So, we want to help you rewire your brain to think directly in English, so you can respond more quickly and accurately in conversations.
And it's not just about speed, it's also about understanding the underlying concepts and cultural context behind the language. It will make you a better communicator.
Absolutely. Thinking in English opens you up to a whole new world of understanding. It's like unlocking a secret code to native speakers' way of thinking.
And the more you think in English, the more natural and automatic it becomes. It's a skill that improves with practice, just like any other skill.
So, stick with us today, and we'll give you some actionable steps to start breaking free from the translation trap and start thinking like a native speaker.
We're here to guide you through the process and provide you with the tools you need to succeed. Get ready to transform your English learning journey.
Remember, it's a journey, not a destination. Be patient with yourself, celebrate your progress, and keep practicing. You've got this.
That's right. Every little step you take towards thinking in English is a victory. So, let's get started and unlock your full English speaking potential.
So Belle, why do so many English learners struggle to stop translating in their heads? What's the big hurdle?
That's a fantastic question. The biggest problem is reliance on their native language as a crutch. They think in their first language, then translate word for word into English.
I totally get that. I remember when I started learning foreign language, I'd build a sentence in English first.
Exactly. It's a natural starting point, but it becomes a huge bottleneck. It slows down fluency and makes spontaneous conversation incredibly difficult.
So, you're trying to order a coffee, but in your head, you're constructing this elaborate sentence in Portuguese before you even open your mouth.
Precisely. And by the time you've translated, "I would like a large cappuccino, please," the barista has already moved on to the next customer.
I've definitely been there. It's like your brain is running two programs at once, and one is constantly lagging behind.
Absolutely. The translation process adds an extra layer of complexity. Instead of reacting naturally, you're filtering everything through a translator in your mind.
And I think that filter also affects your pronunciation, right? Because you're trying to match the sounds of your language onto English words.
That's a great point. The phonetics of your native language can really interfere. You end up with an accent that's heavily influenced by your first language.
I know some people who are afraid to speak because they worry about making translation mistakes.
That fear is completely understandable. The fear of making mistakes is a huge barrier. People are so focused on being grammatically perfect that they hesitate to speak at all.
Right. It creates this cycle of anxiety where you're more worried about being wrong than about communicating.
And that anxiety actually makes it harder to think in English. It clogs up your mental processes and makes it even more difficult to access the vocabulary you know.
So, it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. The more you worry about translating wrong, the harder it becomes to think in English?
Exactly. It's a vicious cycle. Learners need to break free from that cycle to truly become fluent and confident speakers.
It's almost like you need to rewire your brain somehow.
In a way, you do. You need to train your brain to think directly in English, to associate concepts and ideas directly with English words.
That makes sense. So, how do we fix this? How do we break free from the translation trap?
The key is to actively create a direct connection between your thoughts and English words, without relying on your native language as a middleman. Okay, so the first key to thinking in English is to actively build your vocabulary, but not just by memorizing words.
Right, because just knowing words isn't the same as being able to use them naturally, is it?
Exactly. You need to learn words in context. Don't just memorize, happy. Learn, I am happy, she looks happy, they seem happy.
So, instead of individual words, learn phrases and common expressions that incorporate those words.
Precisely. Think of it like learning building blocks for sentences. Instead of individual blocks, you're learning pre-made mini-structures.
Give me some examples of how this works in practice.
Sure. Instead of just learning, delicious, learn, this cake is delicious, the soup was absolutely delicious, or, what a delicious meal.
Okay, I see. So, you're learning how to use the word in a natural sentence structure from the beginning.
Yes. Another example. Instead of just interesting, try, that's an interesting point, the book sounds interesting, or, he's an interesting person.
Right. So you're absorbing the word's meaning alongside its typical usage and grammatical context.
Exactly. And try to use all your senses when learning new words. Visualize the situation, say the phrase out loud, and even try to feel the emotion associated with the word.
So, almost like creating a multi-sensory experience around the word to make it stick better.
Precisely. The more connections you make in your brain, the easier it will be to recall and use the word automatically.
What if you come across a word you don't know in a sentence? Should you immediately translate it?
Resist the urge to immediately translate. First, try to understand the meaning from the context. What's happening in the sentence? What are the surrounding words suggesting?
So, try to infer the meaning before resorting to a dictionary or translation tool.
Exactly. Often, you can get a good sense of the word's meaning even without a direct translation. For example, if you read, "The verdant forest stretched for miles," you might not know, verdant, but the context tells you it's describing the forest.
Right, and you can probably guess it means something like green or lush.
Precisely. Then, once you've made your best guess, you can check the dictionary to confirm and learn the exact definition.
That way, you're actively engaging with the word and its meaning, rather than just passively receiving a translation.
Exactly. It's a much more effective way to learn and remember new vocabulary. Plus, it trains your brain to think in English directly.
Okay, so learn phrases, use your senses, and try to infer meaning from context before translating. What else?
Focus on understanding the feeling, situation, or idea behind the word, not just the direct translation. Think about when and how you would use the word in a real conversation.
So, really internalize the word and make it your own, rather than just treating it as a foreign concept. So Belle, what about when we're dealing with abstract concepts, something you can't easily visualize? How do we handle that?
That's a great question, Theus. Abstract concepts require a different approach. Instead of trying to create a mental image, focus on understanding the core meaning.
Can you give us an example of an abstract concept and how to tackle it?
Sure. Let's take freedom. You can't literally picture freedom, right? But you can associate it with related ideas like independence, choice, and opportunity.
So, instead of picturing a bird flying out of a cage, I should think about what freedom means to me personally?
Exactly. Think about how freedom manifests in your life. The ability to choose your career, express your opinions, or travel where you want. Connect it to real experiences.
Okay, I think I'm getting it. So, instead of a direct translation, I'm building a web of associations in English?
Precisely. You're creating a mental landscape of related concepts. This helps you understand and use the word freedom naturally, without mentally translating it.
What if I still find myself slipping back into translation when faced with a complex abstract idea?
Don't get discouraged. It takes practice. Try breaking down the abstract concept into smaller, more manageable parts. Ask yourself, what are the components of this idea?
So, for example, if I'm struggling with justice, I could break it down into fairness, equality, and impartiality?
Absolutely. And then, think about how each of those components relates to real-world situations. How does fairness look in a courtroom? How does equality manifest in education?
That makes a lot of sense. It's like building a mental map of the concept, rather than trying to force a direct translation.
Exactly. And remember, context is key. The meaning of an abstract concept can change depending on the situation. Pay attention to how it's used in different contexts.
So, justice might mean something different in a legal setting compared to a social setting, for example?
Precisely. The more you expose yourself to the word in different contexts, the richer your understanding will become, and the less you'll rely on translation.
This is incredibly helpful, Belle. What about idioms and expressions? They're often tricky to translate directly.
Idioms are a whole other ballgame, Theus. Direct translation almost always fails with idioms. The key is to learn the meaning of the idiom as a whole unit.
So, it's raining cats and dogs doesn't literally mean animals are falling from the sky.
Laughing, exactly. It means it's raining very heavily. You have to learn the expression's meaning as a whole, rather than trying to decipher it word by word.
How do you recommend learning idioms effectively? There are so many of them.
The best way is to encounter them in context. Read English books, watch English movies and TV shows, and listen to English podcasts. Pay attention to how native speakers use idioms.
So, immersion is key. The more exposure, the better.
Absolutely. And when you come across a new idiom, write it down, look up its meaning, and try to use it in a sentence of your own. Active practice helps it stick.
What about when you're speaking and you can't recall the exact idiom you need?
In that case, don't panic. It's better to express your idea in simple, clear English than to fumble around trying to remember an idiom. Native speakers will appreciate your effort to communicate effectively.
That's a great point. Focus on clear communication first, and then gradually incorporate idioms into your vocabulary as you become more comfortable.
Exactly. It's a marathon, not a sprint. The goal is to gradually build your understanding of English so that you can think directly in the language, without constantly translating. So, now that we've covered internal monologue and visual association, let's talk about a more advanced technique. Thinking in situations.
Thinking in situations? What exactly does that entail, Belle? It sounds a bit abstract.
It means actively picturing yourself in different scenarios and imagining how you would react, but doing it all in English.
Ah, I see. Like mentally role-playing different conversations or challenges I might face. Give me an example.
Exactly. Imagine you're at a restaurant ordering food. Instead of thinking, I want the pasta, visualize the scene, the waiter, the menu, and internally say, I'd like to order the pasta, please.
Okay, that makes sense. So, I'm not just translating the sentence, but I'm actually experiencing the situation in my mind using English.
Precisely. And you can do this with all sorts of situations. Imagine you're giving a presentation, or asking for directions, or even just chatting with a friend.
This sounds like it could be really helpful for improving fluency and confidence. It's like a mental rehearsal in English.
Absolutely. The more you practice thinking in situations, the more natural English will become in real-life conversations. Also, if you're finding this helpful, don't forget to subscribe to Uncle Sam Fun English.
Great point, Belle. Imagine you are stuck in an airport, and your flight is delayed. How would you think about that in English?
Okay, so I'd think, oh man, my flight is delayed. This is so frustrating. I wonder how long it will be. Maybe I should grab a coffee and find a comfortable seat.
See, you're not just translating, you're experiencing the frustration and planning your next steps, all in English. It's very immersive.
Exactly. And the more details you add, the better. Think about the sounds, the smells, the other people around you, all in English.
What about situations that are more emotional? Like if I'm feeling angry or sad, how do I translate that feeling into English?
That's a fantastic question. Don't try to directly translate the emotion. Instead, focus on describing the physical sensations and the thoughts associated with the emotion in English.
So, instead of just thinking, I'm angry, I might think, my heart is racing, my fists are clenched, and I want to yell.
Exactly. You're describing the experience of anger in English, which is much more effective than trying to find a direct translation for the feeling itself.
This is really powerful. It's like building an emotional vocabulary in English and associating it with real experiences.
Precisely. And the more you practice, the easier it will become to express your emotions authentically in English. Remember to make it vivid.
Okay, I'm starting to see how this all connects. Internal monologue, visual association, and thinking in situations, they all build on each other to create a more immersive English-speaking experience.
You've got it. Now, let's say you are walking down the street and see someone drop their wallet. What thoughts would go through your head?
Okay, I'd think, oh no, that person dropped their wallet. Should I say something? Yes, I should. Excuse me, you dropped your wallet.
Perfect. You are reacting in real time, in your mind, in English. And that's the key to stopping the translation process and thinking directly in English.
It sounds like a lot of work initially, but the payoff is huge. You are training your brain to respond to situations in English automatically.
Absolutely. With consistent practice, it will become second nature. Keep going, and remember all the examples we've shared today. Now, let's move on. Let's practice. I'm going to give you some common Portuguese phrases, and you try to think of the English equivalent directly, without translating in your head first.
Okay, I'm ready. Hit me with your best shot. I'll try my best to bypass the internal translator.
Alright, first one. Estou com fome. How would you say that, thinking directly in English?
Okay, instead of going, I am with hunger, I'll try to feel the feeling and directly express it. I'm hungry.
Perfect. See, you didn't need to go through the Portuguese words. Now, try this one. Que legal.
Que legal. It expresses something positive and enthusiastic. I would say, that's awesome. Or maybe, that's really cool.
Excellent. Both work perfectly. You're getting the hang of it. The key is to focus on the feeling or the situation, not the literal words.
This is harder than it sounds. My brain really wants to translate. Okay, next one.
Okay, try this. Now faz mal. This one is tricky.
Now faz mal. It means something like, it doesn't make bad, but directly thinking in English, it's like saying, it's okay, or, no worries.
Exactly. It's okay, or, no worries, captures the sentiment perfectly. You avoided the literal translation trap. Now, a slightly longer one. Tudo bem com voce?
Tudo bem com voce? That's asking about someone's well-being. So, I would say, are you okay? Or, how are you doing?
Fantastic. Again, spot on. You're thinking directly in terms of the feeling and the intention behind the question. One more.
Bring it on. I think I'm starting to rewire my brain a little bit.
Okay, last one for now. Com licença. This can have a couple of meanings, so think about the context.
Com licença. It could be, excuse me, to get someone's attention, or, excuse me, when you're trying to pass by. So, excuse me.
Perfect. You nailed it. See, with practice, it becomes much more natural. You are doing fantastic.
Wow, that was actually really helpful. I can feel myself starting to shift my thinking a little. But it definitely takes conscious effort.
It does. And the more you practice, the easier it becomes. Try doing this throughout your day, with simple phrases and expressions.
I will. I'll try to catch myself translating and force myself to think of the English equivalent directly.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to make mistakes. That's part of the learning process. The important thing is to keep practicing.
So, listeners, try this at home. Think of common phrases you use in your native language and try to express them directly in English, without translating. You might surprise yourself.
And if you get stuck, don't worry. You can always look up the English equivalent, but try to focus on understanding the feeling and the context.
And remember, fluency isn't about being perfect, it's about being able to communicate effectively and express yourself clearly.
That's right. So keep practicing, keep learning, and keep having fun with English. You've got this.
So, let's recap what we've learned today. Stop translating in your head by thinking in English directly, immersing yourself, and practicing regularly.
A practical tip. Try describing your surroundings out loud in English, even if it feels silly at first. It really helps.
Absolutely. The more you immerse yourself in practice, the easier it becomes to think directly in English, and that's the key.
Remember to subscribe to Uncle Sam Fun English for more lessons like this, where we break down complex language concepts into easy-to-understand steps.
Keep practicing, and you'll see amazing results in your fluency and confidence. Don't give up, even if it's challenging at times.
Thanks for listening, everyone. We really appreciate you joining us on this language learning journey and hope you found this episode helpful.
See you next time. Bye. Keep your mind open, your vocabulary growing, and your ears tuned to the sounds of English.
Bye for now. And remember, every little bit of practice counts, so even just a few minutes each day can make a big difference. Keep at it.
Exactly. Even if you just think in English for 5 minutes while you're making coffee, that's a win. Small steps lead to big changes.
We believe in you. And don't be afraid to make mistakes. Mistakes are a natural part of the learning process, so embrace them and learn from them.
That's right. Mistakes are proof you're trying. So embrace them, analyze them, and use them as stepping stones to improve your skills.
And if you have any questions or topics you'd like us to cover in future episodes, please leave them in the comments below. We love hearing from you.
Yes, your feedback is invaluable, and we always take your suggestions into consideration when planning future content. We want to create what you need.
So don't be shy. Let us know what you're struggling with, what you're curious about, and what you'd like to learn more about. We're here to help.
And remember, language learning is a journey, not a destination. So enjoy the process, celebrate your progress, and don't be too hard on yourself.
That's great advice, Theus. It's so important to be patient and kind to yourself, and to acknowledge how far you've come. Give yourself credit.
Absolutely. Learning a new language is a marathon, not a sprint. So pace yourself, stay consistent, and celebrate those small victories along the way.
And don't forget to surround yourself with the English language as much as possible. Watch movies, listen to music, read books, and talk to native speakers.
Immersion is key, as we discussed earlier, so create your own English-speaking bubble wherever you are. The more you immerse yourself, the faster you'll learn.
And find a language partner or a study group. Learning with others can be incredibly motivating and helpful, and it's also a great way to make new friends.
Yes, having a support system can make all the difference. Find someone who shares your goals and can provide encouragement and feedback along the way.
And don't be afraid to experiment with different learning methods. Find what works best for you, whether it's flashcards, apps, or online courses. Everyone learns differently.
Exactly, there's no one-size-fits-all approach to language learning. So try different things until you find what resonates with you and keeps you engaged.
And most importantly, have fun. Language learning should be enjoyable, so find ways to make it fun and engaging, and you'll be more likely to stick with it.
Yes, make it a game, a challenge, or a creative outlet. Find ways to connect with the language on a personal level, and you'll be surprised at how quickly you improve.
So, to wrap it up, stop translating in your head by practicing immersion, thinking in English, and consistently exposing yourself to the language in fun ways.
We hope this episode has given you some valuable insights and practical tips on how to stop translating in your head and start thinking in English. Go practice.
Remember to subscribe to Uncle Sam Fun English, and we will keep these lessons coming, helping you on your journey to fluency. Bye everyone.
See you next time. Bye. Keep thinking in English, keep practicing, and keep having fun. You've got this. We know you can do it, so keep at it and never give up.